the engineer and the town clock. Aiden wasn't just a skilled engineer, he was the son of Oakhaven. His father had been the foreman at the massive factory that dominated the skyline and the economy, and Aiden had grown up timing his walk home from school by the sound of the steam whistle, which was precisely synchronized with the clock tower. When the factory shut its doors 3 years ago, it didn't just take jobs. It stole the town's entire rhythm. The old clock in the square froze permanently at 10:04 a.m., the exact minute the final layoff notice was delivered. A static, metallic monument to failure. The town of Oakhaven was a study in inertia. Storefronts sat vacant, adorned with dust and fading for lease signs. The main square, once bustling, was now silent, the pavement cracked and overgrown. The collective sentiment was one of deep, cynical resignation. People would often point at the clock and sigh, "Why bother fixing the time when our future is stuck?" They saw the broken clock as a massive, symbolic problem, too expensive and too pointless to tackle. But Aiden, who had worked in his father's machine shop before the closure, saw something different. He saw a mechanism, a collection of gears, pivots, and springs that was designed to work. He understood that hope is not a miracle. It is a meticulous, persistent repair, fixed one component at a time. He didn't make speeches or start a fundraising campaign. He simply showed up. Every morning, Aiden would haul his rusty toolbox and buckets of cleaning oil up the tower's treacherous, spiraling staircase, ignoring the pitying glances and the sarcastic shouts from below. His first weeks were grueling, spent in the close, dusty heat, painstakingly cataloging decades of rust and decay. The sheer size and complexity of the old mechanism, designed over a century ago, was daunting. One afternoon, a young woman named Clara paused beneath the tower. She was in her early 20s, sharp and recently college-educated, but jobless. She carried the deepest burden of the town's despair, feeling her potential drain away with every aimless day. Initially, she viewed Aiden's task with scorn, a noble fool fixing a relic. But over the next few days, she realized that his effort was the only thing in Oakhaven that wasn't demanding anything from her. It was simply being done. Clara walked up the steps and offered him a lukewarm thermos. "What exactly are you fixing up here?" she asked, skepticism heavy in her voice. Aiden merely pointed to a small, intricate lever, a PAL. "It allows the pendulum to keep the count without slipping." The next day, Clara returned asking for a rag. Soon, she was no longer just cleaning. She was organizing tools, learning the names of the parts, and mapping the movements of the vast, intricate network of gears. Their solitary project began to draw attention. The biggest obstacle lay in the escapement wheel, the most critical part that governed the clock's accuracy. It had a deep, critical hairline fracture. It was irreplaceable. Frustrated, Aiden nearly abandoned the project. It was Clara who found a solution, recalling a dusty machine from the abandoned factory plans. They enlisted Mr. Davies, a retired carpenter, and Mrs. Lynn, a former factory technician with a steady, precise hand. They spent 2 agonizing months using scavenged brass, old tools, and collective knowledge to mill a custom replacement wheel. This collaboration, the carpenter stabilizing the jig, the technician guiding the cut, Aiden and Clara monitoring the precise depth, was not just manufacturing, it was the reforging of their community spirit. The day the clock was finally set and wound was the most significant Saturday in Oakhaven's history. The whole town gathered, not quite believing, but desperately wanting to. Aiden emerged from the tower, dirt smeared across his resolute face. He gave Clara a tired, proud nod. She stepped forward, grasping the newly installed bell rope. With a deep, powerful gong that seemed to rattle the very foundations of the square, the clock struck 10:05 a.m. Then it chimed again, 11 Hawks a.m., announcing the forward march of time. It wasn't just a sound, it was a declaration. The sound echoed through the valleys, reaching the ears of a councilman who was coincidentally holding a meeting about infrastructure grants miles away. More importantly, it resonated in the hearts of the people of Oakhaven. That afternoon, 2 separate vacant storefronts had their for leases signs removed by owners who suddenly felt that if the clock could start moving again, so could they. Aiden showed them that true leadership isn't about solving every problem, but about igniting the confidence that solutions are possible, one focused, persistent action at a time. The clock started moving, and with it, Oak Haven finally found the time to look toward tomorrow.